Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to compare major career paths in India against each other. So I'm going to pick up elite jobs in private sector and compare it against government sector jobs. I have come up with my own rating systems, which is based on a bunch of factors like the money that you make, the work-life balance that you have, how difficult is it to get that job, what are the exit opportunities like. So I'm going to make that comparison, but let me quickly make a few disclaimers. Number one, please don't get hurt if I'm saying something negative about a certain career path. The reason is very simple, that I am doing this for education purposes so that you can understand more holistically what goes into each of these career paths. That's one. Number two, I am not doing this video with the intent of criticizing any of the career paths. All the career paths that I am going to talk about are wonderful and I personally respect that. I have personally pursued many of these career paths. That's two. Number three, you might say that, hey Akshat, why are you speaking about all these career paths? You might not have ideas. So just a very quick point there. So given the nature of my work, I get to engage and work with people from wide variety of sectors, including government servants. For example, I have actually helped IAS, IPS, IFS officers get into top business schools. So I understand their nature of work because I have helped them write their applications. Additionally, I have worked in the private sector and public sector myself. So I have a bit of an idea and insights that I can share with you. So let's get this video started. Please watch this video till the very end because I am going to discuss which is my favorite career path and why, and I'll give you a logical, rational analysis around that. Also, would request you to please press the like button. It indicates to me that you appreciate me making this type of content. There are essentially 4 career paths that I'm going to speak about on this video. First and foremost, I'm going to help you understand more about UPSC/Civil Service Examination related career paths. These are Group A jobs. So I have lumped all of these jobs together in one bucket. That's one. Second, I'm going to talk a little bit about business related career paths. For example, management consulting, investment banking, etc. Number 3, I'm going to help you understand about technology/product management jobs. And finally, I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship. So these are 4 broad career paths that I'm going to cover. Now let us first talk about UPSC or Civil Service Examination oriented jobs, which are categorized at Group A jobs. Now these are jobs like IAS, IPS, IFS, Indian Forest Services, Indian Economic Services, etc. etc. So these are Group A jobs, and depending on the nature of your services, if you are in Indian Engineering Services, then the nature of your work would be very different compared to if you are an IPS officer. However, a general overview of these jobs would be that you are involved in some kind of planning activities with the government, be it public policy or execution of public policy related schemes. So this is the broad nature of the work. From a practical viewpoint, you command a lot of prestige. And the best part of this work is that you get to impact the lives of millions through your action, which is the primary charm of these Group A government jobs. Delving into the specifics from a monetary point of view, unfortunately, the civil servants or bureaucrats are not compensated enough. I'm sure that there would be a lot of people who would write in the comment that, hey, you know what, an IS gets a bungalow, he gets a car, so on and so forth. And there are a bunch of perks, I agree. But even if you aggregate all those perks, the salary is minuscule, especially if you compare it against top private sector jobs. So from a monetary point of view, I'll unfortunately give it 1 out of 5. From a work-life balance point of view, there might be a lot of diversity in the type of services you're attached with. For example, if you're an Indian Foreign Service officer and if you're posted in a not so high-powered country, your work-life balance might be extremely good, right? On the flip side, if you are posted as an IPS in a political hub in some major city, you might have a very bad work-life balance, right? So the work-life balance differs dramatically. So probably we can give it a 2 out of 5 in terms of work-life balance, because generally if you're an IAS, IPS, your work-life balance is going to be skewed for a major part of your career. Talking about getting in, now is it easy to become an Indian bureaucrat? Absolutely not. It is very tough. It is very competitive. There are very few seats and the competition is insane. It is literally insane. I don't need to quote numbers. You are smart and you would agree that getting into these jobs is very tough. Since the difficulty level to become an Indian bureaucrat is very tough, we will give it 1 out of 5. Now finally, looking at future prospects, I think this is where majority of the people go wrong. So I spend time with a lot of IAS, IPS officers and they also plan on studying abroad. So please don't ask me why they do it. There are specific reasons and these might be their own personal reasons. But the point that I want to drive home here is very simple, that if you're an Indian bureaucrat and if you want to change your careers, it's going to be really tough. Number 1, you will get stuck with your job. It's not easy to leave a job as an IAS, IPS, IFS officer because the government spends a lot of time, effort and money in terms of training you. So getting out of that job is tough to begin with. That's one. Second is that switching when you're young is very tough. It's not that easy these days to quit your job as an IPS and get an admit at a top 5, top 6 MBA program. That's tough. Or switch to a business field at a young age. Yes, once you have built your contacts, once you have spent 25, 30 years in bureaucracy, and then if you want to take up high corporate HQ roles in the business world, that might be a possibility, and a lot of IAS, IPS officers end up doing that. But these days, it's very tough for young IAS, IPS officers to just quit their work and move into the business field. It is proving a little bit difficult. Why is that? The reason is very simple, that businesses care about maximizing their own returns. So they pick up people who have the most relevant training. Now, if you compare IAS, IPS officers, they have wonderful training, but that training is not geared towards building businesses, right? If you compare this training to the training that management consultants get, for example, when I was a management consultant, the type of training that I got at my firms, it was very different from what IAS, IPS officers would undergo. The type of training that is given to business professionals, that is being more rewarded by the business world these days. So therefore, it is difficult for young bureaucrats to switch their career paths very, very easily. So from this angle, I will probably give it 2 out of 5 in terms of rating. Now, if we take a look at business related career paths, these would be jobs like management consulting, investment banking, private equity, VC funds. The nature of the job is that you are helping businesses. For example, if you are a management consultant, then you will be solving problems for big businesses. You will be solving certain cases for them. You will be helping them optimize their business performance. If you are an investment banker, then again, you will be helping your business clients raise money, get to the IPO stage, or help them optimize their financial decisions. Similarly, if you are working with private equity and VC funds, again, you are somewhat going and acquiring new businesses, investing in new businesses. So broadly speaking, in this career path, you end up optimizing businesses or helping businesses in some manner. Now, if we talk about money, that is the first criteria, the money is really, really good. For example, if you're working as a management consultant in Singapore, then your average salary right out of business school would be approximately $130,000 while working with a top 3 consulting firm. You get additional bonuses, additional perks, resettlement, bonus at the end of the year. So bunch of different perks. So you can easily assume it to go up to 150, 160,000 a year easily. Plus there is signing bonus and bunch of other monetary benefits. So from a money point of view, if you take a look at management consulting, salary itself is really good. Now, if you move on to investment banking, salary is 30-40% higher. If you move on to VC private equity, top firms, money is even higher. If you're working with hedge funds, again, money is even more higher. So the bottom line is that if you're looking at these business-oriented career paths, money-wise, I will definitely give it a 5-star. Now, let's assess these career paths from a work-life balance perspective. Now, work-life balance, unfortunately, at majority of these jobs is really, really bad. Right? For example, if you're working as a management consultant, in a 5-day work week, you would end up spending approximately 50-55 hours per week easily. If you're working in investment banking, the work-life balance is even worse. For example, you would end up working some weeks approximately 70 hours a week, which is just madness, right? So from a work-life balance perspective, these jobs are not that great. So I'll definitely give these jobs 1 star. Now, in terms of getting in, how competitive is it to become an investment banker, or how competitive is it to become a management consultant? Short answer is, it is super competitive to break into these career paths. Now, earlier we spoke about the UPSC exam, that how is it very tough. But honestly, getting into McKinsey, getting into BCG, Bain or McKinsey is very tough as well. Now, I'll not get into the debate that whether getting into UPSC is tougher or becoming a management consultant or investment banker is tougher. We can very much assume that both the career paths are very, very difficult to break into. So from a level of difficulty point of view and how easy or tough it is to get into these business-oriented career paths, I will again give it a 1 star because it is very tough to get into these career paths. But if you actually build your resume and if you take concrete steps and take a long-term view in terms of developing your profile, you can break into top business-related jobs like private equity, VC, IB or management consulting. Now finally, let me quickly cover about the future prospects. If you are working as an investment banker, management consultant, private equity, VC professional, the future prospects are extremely bright. Because if, for example, if you have been trained as a management consultant at BCG, Bain, McKinsey, or if you have worked with JP Morgan, or if you have worked with Sequoia Capital, the point is that almost every business in the world would be okay onboarding you. Because of the fact that number one, you have been trained really well. As a management consultant or an investment banker, you have those core finance, business, communication skills. Additionally, while working at these top tier firms, what happens is that you end up developing and strengthening your network. So many a times, speaking from my own experience, I ended up working with the chief economist of Asian Development Bank on one of my key projects. Now, if I'm looking for a role at Asian Development Bank, because I had the opportunity to work with him, display my work, display my understanding, so it becomes easy for me to build those connections. Therefore, switching jobs become very, very easy. So I'll definitely give these fields a complete 5-star in terms of the career opportunities that you get after you have worked in these top business related fields. So let me now quickly cover and talk a little bit about product management / technology jobs. So the nature of the work is that you will work on releasing products, working with your product and marketing team in terms of understanding the market, developing new products, restructuring older products, understanding the pulse of the market, understanding competitions. This is the type of work that you would do as a product manager. Now, the definition of technology can be really vast and the nature of work might differ from firm to firm. So here I'll quickly contextualize the type of jobs that I'm speaking about. So I'm speaking about product manager jobs at Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook. These are the primary type of jobs that I'm looking at. And I'm also looking at internal consulting roles with companies like Dell, Microsoft, Amazon, right? So these are the type of jobs that I'm speaking about in this section. So the money associated with these jobs is quite good. It's somewhat comparable to management consultants and investment bankers, slightly on the lower side. So we'll give it 4 out of 5 in terms of money. The work-life balance in this field is better than it is for management consultants and investment bankers. So we'll give it 3 out of 5 in terms of ratings. And in terms of getting in, I would say that it's slightly easier to get into product management type of jobs compared to elite management consulting and investment banking jobs. In terms of ease of getting in, I will give it 2 out of 5. Why am I giving only 2? Why not 5 on 5? Because it is still tough to become a product manager. But compared to management consultants or UPSC jobs, it's somewhat easier. In terms of prospects for growth or moving to other industries, again, I would say that these fields depict very high switchability. So if you're working as a product manager at Amazon or Google, and if you want to go and work with a startup, or if you want to go and build your own startup, you can easily do it. So in terms of switchability, compared to management consultants and investment banker, I'll give it 4.5 stars out of 5. Now let me finally cover the fourth career path on this video, which is entrepreneurship and running your own business. Now this is something that I have done. So let me quickly cover the nature of the work that is there. So number one, being an entrepreneur is very, very rewarding if you love hard work. And if hard work comes naturally to you, you will enjoy being an entrepreneur. But more importantly, if you are someone who enjoys building things, who really enjoys building things, you might become passionate about entrepreneurship, because the joy of building things is something that you don't get in any other career field that I've spoken about so far. So this is the primary nature of work, that every day as an entrepreneur, you have to pick up new skills. For example, when I started one of my companies, I even learned graphic designing my own website and bunch of different things. So the point is that as an entrepreneur, you don't seem to have an off day. You create a ton of things. So that is a huge positive in this career path. Now talking about specific parameters like money, it really ranges. If you're someone who is a successful entrepreneur, you might be earning in billions, who knows, right? But majority of the startups are not even revenue positive. So majority of the entrepreneurs, therefore, do not even make any money. So that is a very scary situation. I'll be honest with you. Now, if you look at the odds of someone succeeding in entrepreneurship versus failing, then majority of the startups fail. It's very hard to give a statistic around it, but it is safe to say that majority of the entrepreneurs unfortunately fail. So from a monetary perspective, I would give entrepreneurship a 2 star. Number 2, let me quickly cover work-life balance. Okay, so if there are negative stars I can give here, I would give entrepreneurship some kind of negative stars. It does not even deserve 0 stars in terms of work-life balance. The work-life balance is that off in terms of entrepreneurship. For example, when I started my first venture, it was a lot of work. I used to work 14-15 hours a day, and I continued doing it for approximately 2 years. Was it rewarding? Yes, absolutely yes. I picked up insane number of skills. I built up massive number of contacts. From a monetary perspective, it ended up growing to over $1 million in valuation. But was the work-life balance off during those 2 years of my life? The answer is absolutely yes. So therefore, I would probably give negative stars to entrepreneurship in terms of work-life balance. Now, in terms of future prospects, if you are an entrepreneur, a lot depends on what your past background has been like. For example, I was a management consultant. I quit management consulting to start my own set of businesses, etc., grew those. If I have to go back in the corporate world, I can easily do it. So for me, that power of switching jobs does not come because I was an entrepreneur. It came because I'm an ex-management consultant. On the flip side, there are a lot of people who right after college or in college are building their own ventures. Kudos to them. They are doing a fabulous job. But if for some reason you fail in your venture and you have to figure out a way to get to the corporate world, it might be a very difficult task ask for you to achieve. These are hard, cold facts. I'm sure that many of you might disagree with me in the comments, but do share your experience if you're going through something similar. If you have been a successful entrepreneur, do share your experience. I would love to hear from you. If you have a failed entrepreneur and if you have a wonderful story to tell, do state it. I would love to read that story. Now, just a very quick note before I end this section, that entrepreneurs are someone who creates jobs. Right? They are the engines of the economy, so to say. Now, I'm not trying to put entrepreneurship on a pedestal, but I'm trying to put forth the viewpoint that there is a lot of joy in entrepreneurship in terms of creating something new. On the flip side, you need to figure out if you are someone who is able to take that risk and manage that risk. So that is again a very important component of being an entrepreneur. So this brings us to the final section of this video, that hey, which is my favorite job? So you might have figured out that my favorite job is entrepreneurship, and this is a career path that I would pick in a heartbeat. It does not mean that I did not enjoy working as a management consultant. I really enjoyed working as a management consultant. I really enjoyed my time working at Ministry of Rural Development. All these were wonderful career paths for me. These allowed me to develop skills. But why do I enjoy entrepreneurship so much? Because every day is an opportunity for me to do something creative, something new, and learn every single day. So that is what I enjoy. That is the type of a person I am. So therefore, I enjoy entrepreneurship the most. Thank you so much. Please like and comment on this video. It would indicate to me that you appreciate me making this type of content, and I will see you on the next video.